Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. So this is going to be kind of a quick video, but I saw one like it. I thought it was fun and that I would try it. And I'm not going to lie, this gave me anxiety. Like, I don't even know. Like, it surprised me how much I had anxiety doing this. So basically, there's I don't know if it's a tag or what, but it's a video where you pick 10 eyeshadow palettes out of your collection. I saw that girl Shay do it. I don't know who originated it, but that's the only one I've seen. And I don't know how I want to do my hair, if I want it behind my ears or not, but I need to pick so that I don't fool with it the entire time. But anyway, I only have like 31, 32 palettes, something like that, so I didn't want to pick 10. I felt like that was overkill for the palettes that I own, which is a lot for like a normal everyday person, but considering YouTubers, it's not very much at all. And most of these girls have like hundreds of palettes, so 10 is like a big deal. But since I only had 30 some, I decided to narrow it down to 5. So if I could only keep 5 eyeshadow palettes ever, what would they be? And this was actually really funny because me and my mom was talking last night about my favorite eyeshadow palette. Like if I could only pick one, what the eyeshadow palette would be. And then it was later last night, that I saw that girl Shay's video. I'm like, oh my gosh, I was just talking about this. So I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. So if you know me, if you've watched me very much, you know that I love warm toned eyeshadows. That is my jam. Like I love warm toned eyeshadows, so I could pick like all warm toned palettes. But I'm like, if these are the only palettes I'm gonna have in my entire life, I need to have options so that I could do various looks. So yeah, I'll show you what I picked. Okay, so palette number 1, which is my favorite eyeshadow palette. Like, well, it's a tie probably between this one and another one, but this is probably my most used palette. Like if I know like my signature look, if I'm gonna do that look, this is the palette that I grab. And this is the Alamar Cosmetics palette. And it's not even a big brand, it's like an indie brand, but I just love this palette. The eyeshadows are so good. You've got 4 warm toned mattes and then these gorgeous shimmers. This color here is amazing. Got some teals and greens if you want that pop. And like this is me in a palette. Like I love this palette. If I could only have one palette for the rest of my life and only have like so many options, it would be this, because I would always pick a warm tone. If I could only do one look, it would be warm tone, and then if I wanted to cool it down, I could put a pop of blue or do, you know, this is like my signature. Like I love it. But I could do an all matte look if I wanted to, and that'd be fine. But this is my number 1 ride or die palette. If I could only have one, it would be this one. Very close second, and this is going to surprise some people because this was like so hated by so many people, but I was one of the few that honestly just loved this palette. I love the colors in it, and I've never had any trouble with like performance, and that is the Subculture palette. I adore this palette, and this was my number 1 favorite until the Alamar one came about. And it's very similar. Like it's got like these yellowy tones, it's got some greens in it, and it does have like a cool tone in it if I need it. I love this, and I like the shimmers in it. Okay, they are not my favorite by any means, but like if I want an all matte, like yummy, like fall look, deep, sultry, I go for the Subculture palette. This is just like, I love this palette, and I think you can tell it's pretty beat up, but yeah, this is like my number 2. Like I adore it. Like if this was the only palette I ever had, I would be okay. I would survive with just this palette. Okay, so these are the ones that got a little bit harder. Like it was hard to pick between a lot of my other palettes. I have a lot of ColourPop palettes that I love, and I'm like, but I need variety so that, you know, if I wanted to step out and do something a little bit different from like my normal, which would be these 2 palettes over here, you know. So this one is still a little bit more in that realm, but this is the ColourPop Dream Street palette by Kathleen Lights. I love Kathleen for one, and I just love this palette. I love the rose gold in it. It's got this beautiful red. It's got the teals. So it's still warm, but I could also get a very neutral look out of it. Like I wouldn't have to have anything real deep. I have some lighter tones that I can work with, and I just love this palette. This is a gorgeous palette. Like I've used it a lot. This color right here, this rose gold, oh my gosh, it's so good. But yeah, so this is definitely in my top 5. Well, obviously because I'm showing you. Now these next 2 palettes are not my favorites. Like I have a lot of palettes that I have that I like better than these, but they're so much like the other ones. Like for instance, the one I'm wearing today is the ColourPop at Disney designer palette, and it's a lot of neutrals, and like I don't need this if I have those other palettes. Like I can get a very similar look out of those. And then like I have other ColourPop palettes that I just love, but I wouldn't be able to get like much variety. So I was trying to think what I would pick, like if I needed cool tones, what would I pick? And the answer to that is the Lorac Tale as Old as Time palette. Plus I love Beauty and the Beast, so like I wouldn't want to get rid of this. Like it's just so cute and like it just makes me happy. But then also it has a lot more cooler tones, like these like mauvey tones down here. You've got a cool tones up here. You got a blue, you got a black. You know, there's a couple warm tones sprinkled in, but when I go for this palette, I do not go for a warm look. Like, I don't grab this palette for, like, this row here. It's usually either if I'm going for, like, a pinky mauvey look, or if I'm going with more of a cool tones, like bluey, gray, black, silvery look, I grab this palette. So this gives me that side of the spectrum with the cool tones. Plus, it's adorable. Plus, it's Disney. Plus, I love it. So, it's, yeah, this is my cool tone palette if I'm going for a cool tone look. And I need that, even though it's not something I do often, you know, when the time comes. Now, if you know me, you know I love a pop of color. And, like, there's little pops here and there in those. But I'm like, I need a color palette. That way, you know, if I'm working with these and I just need that pop. So, I grabbed the Old Faithful Electric palette by Urban Decay. They no longer make this. I don't know why. But it's got any pop of color you could ever possibly want. What, Bubba?
I want to go downstairs.
Okay. And I have used this quite a bit, and I will use it until there's nothing left to use. Quit. Because you can't repurchase this, so I don't care how old and crusty it gets, this is going nowhere. Okay, so those are my 5 palettes. If I could only keep 5, I would have all the eyeshadow I would ever need to do pretty much any look I would ever need for the most part.
But I thought you done the video.
Well, this is a different video.
Oh, but can I be in it too?
Yeah, if you want to.
I want to be with my toy. My TV.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a.
Hey, Declan, how did you quit hitting everything, bud? That'd be great.
I thought it was great.
It was great.
But I thought it was not over.
Yeah, it's about over. If you'll let me sign off, it'll be over. Okay.
Please.
All right. But comment down below what your like go-to palette is. If you could only pick 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5, just let me know what are your palettes that you go to all the time. Hold on. Boys, I've only got so much left. Okay. Oh, Lord. There we go. Well, here, yeah. So that is it for this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to ring the bell. I love you guys. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.